What is going on, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and today we are here breaking down for you the Zap Bowitch at Town Hall 11. So, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational Clash of Clans content. Also, don't forget to use code CorruptYT in the Clash Champs shop to save 10% off your purchase. So, what do you need to know about the Zap Bowitch? Well, it's a fairly simple strategy. All you're looking at is the three main defenses: 2 multi-infernos and the Eagle Artillery. Those are going to be the only things you need to take down. So those are going to be your key objectives. You want to make sure that you're zapping away the Inferno towers, and then what you want to do is then push your Bowitch to the wall, or to the Eagle Artillery. That is going to allow you to then have the rest of the base for your witches and your bowlers just to go rampant. This probably will also work against ring bases and against single target infernos. So if you're interested in using an attack that works against a lot of different things, this is definitely has you covered. So all you really need to look for are the Infernos and the Eagle Artillery as much as possible. So you want to get rid of these in order to kind of make sure that you're able to then send in everything in for that Eagle Artillery. In this case, we have Hog Riders to take care of the Eagle Artillery and heal, and we're going to easily deal with it just like that. So you guys will see from here is that we are going to be dropping in the lightning spells, just a couple at a time, in order to make sure that we're able to weaken the first Inferno. We're bringing in 2 Quakes and 8 Lightning, but you can see that we're able to easily get through it, and then having that last Quake to take care of the other multi-Inferno. Now, what does this mean for our entire attack? Well, what you'll see from here is that we're then just going to use the golems to tank as we're going through and send in the rest of our bowlers and witches as we go through into here. Now, dealing with the clan castle is not too difficult. We still want to bring a poison to deal with it, but we can still deal with it with ease. There's little to no problem when dealing with the clan castle, no matter what it is. So as we're kind of sending everything in, we want to make sure that these bowlers and witches are getting a ton of value. That way we can kind of evenly split between witches and bowlers going this way, witches and bowlers going this way. That way the Hog Riders can get right into the Eagle Artillery compartment to take that down. So you'll see that as we're moving through, notice that we don't have many spells. We don't even have any spells for the Bowitch portion. We are going to use the Warden ability to protect all of the bowlers and witches on the left side with the Warden in order to make sure that they're able to get through the Eagle shot. But then we have the Hog Riders, like you see here, in order to make sure that they're able to take down the Eagle Artillery with ease and allowing us to get through the rest of the base. So that's really how you guys deal with these sort of centralized Eagle Artilleries that are really hard to get to. This can definitely work very, very well, and everything kind of just works themselves around the base. Just as long as you can get those multi-inferno compartments down, you can easily take care of a lot of different base designs. Even though this base design here had like that expo farm, wasn't a problem at all. So you guys notice that this was a pretty quick example of really how you guys can use this. Don't worry, we do have more of this, and we even have a Bowitch, a regular Bowitch, and we're going to talk to you guys about how you guys can use that too. Now we have a traditional Bowitch here. This one is bringing in the Golem variation, but not just this, but we are bringing in the Quad Quake and Jump. Now, when is it necessary to bring a Quad Quake and Jump? Well, if you can get yourself right into the base and get a large portion of it with the Quad Quake, that's when you should use the Quad Quake. The jump would be for the back end where you can't really get into it, or you didn't open with the EQ, or with the Quad Quake, I'm sorry, in order to kind of move through. And that's kind of what we're going to be seeing right here. Another thing is, the main reason to why we're not using the Zap Bowitch is there really isn't a reason to. If we just smash all the way into here, we're getting rid of those 3 key structures almost immediately. We have the multi-infernos in the core, both in range of the queen, and the Eagle Artillery is in the direction that we're going to be doing our Bowitch. So it's very, very simple to kind of look at the base and say, all right, is it better if it's only better to use a Zap Bowitch when the multi-infernos and the Eagle Artillery are a little bit more separated, and that way it's a little bit harder. That is where I think that this strategy will definitely come into play if you see it a little bit more concentrated. So you'll see that what we're going to be doing is dropping in the witches on one side and the same thing on the other, along with a couple bowlers and the golems to kind of get through. That's all we're doing, is just kind of making sure that we're able to create a funnel here and a funnel here. So as we're doing that, though, we have the quad quake that opens us up into all of this. It's a large area that it's going to be able to break us into. Now remember, the funnel is very important, so we do want to make sure that we are keeping a solid funnel in order to keep a lot of these witches and bowlers to kind of start going in along with our heroes. This is not just for the bowlers and the witches, this is for the heroes. As we pop the ability, notice that we're going to be taking down those key defensive structures, even the Inferno Dragon clan castle with little to no problem, easily taking care of the multi-infernos, and notice the jump getting us into the rest of the back end part of the base. Very, very simple nonetheless. And we still have witches on one side with hog riders. We have witches and a bowler or a couple bowlers on the other side. So basically what we're doing is we have everything kind of all around the base. We've got the witches on the outside kind of helping clear the trash buildings and take down defenses from the outside. We have the bowlers and the heroes working their way right through the core of the base and gutting out the interior of it, and then just allowing these hog riders to take down each of these defenses. That is really how you guys can use a regular Bowitch. I would definitely use this when the defensive or when the key defensive structure, like I mentioned, were a little bit more concentrated in comparison to the Zap Bowitch where they were a little bit more spread out. That's when I would sort of personally use them. But other than that, though, that kind of gives you guys an idea of how you guys should identify bases to use a Zap Bowitch or a regular Bowitch here at Town Hall 11. But don't go away, we even have even more Zap Bowitch coming up. So here, guys, we have another example of the Zap Bowitch. This one is a little bit different, but again, the same thing applies. With the Infernos being basically isolated here, we can easily send our Bowitch and allow the Hog Riders from the Siege Barrack to go in for the Eagle. So we're kind of just sending in our Bowitch kind of like this. Now, even though that wasn't really ideal, in my opinion, in order to take these down, keeping them isolated and having that Bowitch drive this way would have been a ton better, and it would have allowed an easier path for the Hog Riders to get right over to the Eagle Artillery and to take that down as early as possible. So that's kind of my sort of thought process in it. But in this example, we had the attacker kind of use his Bowitch, making sure that everything was able to kind of get through, get these Hog Riders over to that Eagle Artillery, and then zapping away the multi-infernos so we don't have to worry about them. That's really the basis of this attack. It's very simple and very, very easy to kind of get to know how to use it. So you'll see that what we're doing is we're using a super wall breaker here in order to kind of get into this compartment, even though it maybe wasn't such a big deal in terms of getting over to it, but we're using those lightning spells and the quake in order to take down these inferno towers along with the sweepers in order to make sure that we're gutting that out of the way, or we're getting that out of the way. Now, for the most part, only a couple witches and a golem went up here. For the most part, we have bowlers, witches, and everything kind of going down this way. So that's kind of the main focus. And even though the clan castle here was lured out, and we do definitely need to worry about it, it's not that big of a deal, especially since we have a lot of witches and we have a lot of bowlers still up. Now, with this eagle still being up as well, we had to use the warn ability a lot earlier, so that means that we have to use the heal with the bowlers and witches. But you'll see that even still, we will be able to get these hog riders right over to the eagle artillery to help take care of that in order to make sure that we're able to get through a large portion of the base. So even though it may not look like we're going to get that eager artillery down, it's definitely completely fine. But you need to make sure that you have something to drive your bowlers and witches, and possibly having the hog riders in there from the siege barrack to take that down. Now, if you don't have the siege barrack, I would suggest using a stone slammer with hog riders. You can actually use that to create some sort of pathing and keep the hog riders to go over to that eager artillery if you don't have access to the siege barrack. Even though the siege barrack, trust me, it is a very good siege machine to bring. Other than this, though, you can see how simple this attack strategy is. We were able to get the 3-star, even though there are only witches, wizards left with the heroes, and still has the queen ability. Other than that, though, you guys can still see the power of this attack strategy. It's still very, very strong. It's just finding the right base design to use it. We've got one more regular Bowitch for you guys. Hopefully this will give you guys an idea of how you guys can use the normal standard Bowitch at Town Hall 11. Now we have another Bowitch attack, and this one is basically going to be using a queen walk and then using the siege barrack on the opposite side. Kind of like this is being a pack-a-smash, but this is definitely a Bowitch using the queen walk to funnel out one side, mainly focusing here, using the siege barrack down this way, and then we're basically going to send in the bowlers, witches, ice golem right into the base with the jump and the quad quake in order to power through the core of the base. So we still want to charge for the multi-infernos, but we also want to make sure that we're getting to that eager artillery. And on that base design, you notice that the eager artillery was in a isolated compartment, so it's definitely going to be a little bit harder to get to, which is the main reason to why we are using that quad quake and the jump to get through it in order to open that compartment up for us. So that's exactly what we need to do with this. So we're going to be starting off with a queen walk on the left side. So for, you know, it is a standard queen walk, but we're only using it to create the funneling specifically for the Bowitch. So that way what we're going to be able to do is kind of walk our queen this way here. We're going to use the siege barrack down at 6 o'clock in order to create this part of the funnel. So we're kind of trying to funnel out this in order to make sure that we're sending in our witches and our bowlers so that then they can drive right into the base like you see here. So as we're driving them through, we have the ice golem to help tank for them as they start to move through. We even have the jump spell that's going to be used in order to kind of help them get in, using that quad quake in order to open up the eagle artillery compartment as well, and that allows everything to kind of drive right into the base. We're even going to use the ability, the Warren ability, in order to get through a large portion of the damage from this. Now we're still bringing a heal from this in this attack because we do want to make sure that we are keeping these hog riders healed up as they move through the base. Now, even though here you'll see that it does look like we aren't going to get that eagle artillery, we can just fine by a couple of those witches there on the left side, left of the warden. But you'll see that as everything's driving through, we have a Tesla farm. So we don't need to worry about that one too much, though. We want to make sure, though, that we are getting through it. So as long as we still have the queen ability, like you see here, for the most part, we should be able to get through it with little to no problem. For the most part, this is a very strong attack strategy. It's still very, very powerful, and you definitely shouldn't ignore Bowitch. And there's multiple different ways. You guys saw that within this video. How you guys can use the Zap version of Bowitch. How you guys can add a queen walk to this. And how you guys can use this just as a standard golem kill squad Bowitch. This one was a little bit different, bringing in the queen walk to kind of help create a funnel on one side, siege barrack on the other, and just push into the base with the rest of your kill squad. Now what we're going to be doing is breaking down one final Zap Bowitch, hopefully to give you guys an idea of how you guys can use this. Now we have our final example showcasing the Zap Bowitch. So you guys already know what you're looking for and stuff like that. You guys already know what you are going to be doing with this. So we're going to be playing it just so you guys can see exactly what's going on. You may notice that what we're doing with this attack is by using the lightning spells to take down as many of those structures surrounding the multi-infernos. Now, what does this mean for the rest of our attack? Well, what we can do is just send in the siege barrack for one side, super wall break to get into a couple more compartments in order to allow ourselves to kind of get in deeper and just create the funnel. In this case here, we're able to kind of get right into the other wizard tower compartment, and that's just going to open the floodgates for everything else. So we have some wizards going along this side with the P.E.K.K.A. We have a couple witches over there. We have a large portion of the witches and the bowlers, and a couple driving right into the core. That's exactly what you guys should be trying to do when you guys are using this. But for the most part, remember that you're looking for that eagle artillery. After you take down the multi-infernos, it's then going to be time to look for the eagle artillery. And in this case, the hog riders are going to move themselves over to get that down. So that's all you really need to know with this one. It's just, for the most part, you want to take down the eagle artillery after taking down those multi-infernos. And then you have the rest of the base for your witches, for your bowlers, and for the rest of your heroes as you move through. Little to no problem here because we still have a bunch of golems still up, we still have witches still up, and this is just absolutely looking really good. We didn't even need the heal spell with the hog riders. We just had to use them with the witches. And that is really it. And you can see a late use of the warden ability, but we didn't need it. So you guys can see how powerful this strategy really is, allowing these witches to really overwhelm all these defenses and stuff like that. So if you guys do enjoy this type of content, then remember, guys, to definitely share with your clanmates because they can definitely learn from these. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, then remember to subscribe and ring the notification so you guys don't miss any of my educational Clash of Clans content. Also, feel free to go ahead and join me on the social. Remember to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, and don't forget to go ahead and follow me on Twitch, as that is where I'm going to be streaming from. Also, don't forget to go ahead and join my community Discord server. The link to it is in the description, along with all the other clans I cover. Their Discord servers are also in the description below. And don't forget to use code CorruptYT in the Clash Champs shop to save you 10% off of your purchase. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.